just ahead on CTV News.
Here at BWI, travelers are coming to the airport even earlier to catch their flights due to the TSA staffing shortages. I'm Jonathan Hunter. Coming up, I have more details on what travelers told me.
Plus, the Trump administration is trying to deport Kilmar Abrego Garcia again. And
the University of Maryland just received a new competitive edge in AI research. I'll have that story coming up on CTV News.
These stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for March 24th. I'm Anaya Falcon.
Thanks so much for joining us. Well, airports all across the country have been seeing long lines due to the partial government shutdown. TSA officials have been calling out sick and some have even quit.
That's right, and this has travelers worried as they try to make it to their destinations. Our Jonathan Hunter stopped by BWI Thurgood Marshall Airport this afternoon and saw things weren't too bad.
I'm here at BWI Thurgood Marshall Airport, just outside of security checkpoint C. And as you can see, the lines are moving relatively quickly. However, I spoke to a couple travelers and they told me they wanted to make sure they got here early. Around lunchtime today, security checkpoints A and B were closed, but passengers were able to make it through security checkpoint C within a matter of minutes. That was a sigh of relief for Nikki Sloans, who is traveling to Portland, Oregon with her husband and son.
We were very happy that the lines weren't as long as they were, and we were ready for the worst.
About 50,000 TSA officers are working without pay, leaving to several not showing up to work. President Donald Trump has deployed ICE agents at airports to help with the staffing shortages. But on Tuesday afternoon, no ICE agents were visible at BWI. Christina Couture, who is moving across the country, feels for the men and women working without pay.
What TSA agents do is really important for our whole country and just honestly the whole world. And I think that they deserve to be getting paid just like any other, person in Congress.
Senators are discussing a deal to fund the Department of Homeland Security so the partial government shutdown can come to an end.
Hopefully they can come to a reasonable and good, decision soon. Not rush it because these are important.
And for Sloans, she is hoping the lines remain small the next few days.
We're hopeful and we're confident that it will be safe and relatively smooth.
And officials at BWI are encouraging travelers to arrive at least 3 hours early. In Linthicum, I'm Jonathan Hunter reporting for CTV News.
And a group of Republican senators met with President Donald Trump yesterday to discuss a deal. They returned to the Capitol optimistic with how the meeting went.
And Prince George's County Council Chair Crystal Oriatha introduced new legislation today to attract more upscale restaurants to the area. The proposal, called the Fine Dining Incentive Act of 2026, would create a program to encourage high-end restaurants to open or expand in the county. The plan would also set aside a portion of annual awards from the Prince George's County Economic Development Incentive Fund to support those restaurants. Chair Oriatha says offering these incentives can in turn help charge the local economy and increase local development.
For so long, we don't see restaurants coming into the county, and sometimes they might open, but for some reasons they're not able to stay open. The economy of restaurants, right? Sometimes it has a small profit margin. And so having the government assist, especially if you're going to move into the areas that we want to develop, I think is just the way forward for us to get what we want, right? We can't just hope that they're able to come. We want to make sure we incentivize them.
And county leaders will first hold a public hearing where they will hear and discuss the proposal before deciding whether to move forward with the program. And we have new updates from the county executive about the suspicious packages found in Fort Washington Park. As we reported yesterday, U.S. Park Police found 5 devices resembling pipe bombs on Sunday, and the park remains closed until the county's fire and EMS bomb squad does a full sweep. This morning, County Executive Aisha Braveboy says after yesterday's investigation, a total of 9 devices have been located. Law enforcement is continuing their sweeps today, and the park will reopen tomorrow, the 25th. Anyone with more information is asked to call 1-888-8-ATF-BOMB.
And in other news, the Trump administration is looking to deport Kilmar Abrego Garcia again, this time to Liberia. Reports show that Abrego Garcia's lawyers has 2 weeks to prepare their case on why he shouldn't be sent to the African country. The Justice Department argued that they are able to remove Garcia to Liberia if the court sides with the department. And while Abrego Garcia's legal team say Costa Rica is a better option for him. And a controversial push to let Maryland lawmakers take second jobs is gaining momentum. A state ethics panel now backing a bill from Senator Ron Watson easing restrictions on outside employment for legislators. The Joint Committee on Legislative Ethics voting 10-2 backing the amended bill after previously blocking Watson from taking a government job. The proposal would allow lawmakers to work for state or local governments after one full term if qualified. Supporters call it fairness, noting lawmakers earn about $56,000 a year, but critics warn it could blur ethical lines and strain oversight.
And from private prisons to prehistoric sharks, Maryland lawmakers beat the clock on a major deadline. With the crossover day now in the books, among the biggest moves was the Senate advancing a plan to ban private detention centers. Also moving forward, a bill targeting dynamic pricing in grocery stores. But at least one high-profile proposal, the Community Trust Act on Immigration Enforcement, failed to make the cut. And in a lighter twist, a bill to make the megalodon Maryland's official state shark is also advancing. Lawmakers now shift to reconciling those differences with only 3 weeks before the session ends.
And Maryland Senator Angela Alsobrooks is weighing in on the race for D.C.'s next mayor. Alsobrooks announced Monday, she's endorsing former D.C. Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie, calling him the right leader for the district. McDuffie stepped down from his at-large council seat in January to launch his campaign after Mayor Muriel Bowser announced she would not seek another term. All right, you're watching CTV News. I'm Michaela Newton.
And I'm Anaya Falcon. Still to come, do you know someone with a gambling problem? A new report is looking at the highs and lows on Marylanders who like to take their chances.
Find out how the chips stack after the break.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
You gotta believe without seeing. You gotta keep going, keep breathing. When you face a day, it feels like you're gonna break. You gotta believe without seeing. You gotta keep going, keep breathing. You face a day that feels like you're gonna break. So lean on the ones that love you. The guardian angels above you, and think about when peace just another color. Ooh, just another color. Just another color.
Welcome back. A fatal stabbing in Suitland is now under investigation by the Prince George's County Police Department. Officers say 31-year-old Troy Cager of Capitol Heights was killed Friday night. Around 11:05 p.m., sheriff's deputies responded to the 3900 block of Suitland Road for a reported domestic dispute. When they arrived, they found an adult man inside a home suffering from a stab wound. He was pronounced dead at the scene. This investigation is still underway, and anyone with information is asked to contact Prince George's County Crime Solvers.
And a warning tonight, artificial intelligence could put tens of thousands of Maryland jobs at risk. A new study finds about 40% of Maryland's workforce faces a high risk of automation, the highest share of any state. Jobs in accounting, finance, and tech analysis are among the most vulnerable as AI use accelerates. State leaders now scrambling to respond, rolling out a $4 million plan to refrain workers for fields like cybersecurity and advanced manufacturing. With a multi-billion-dollar deficit looming, the pressure is on for Maryland to act quickly before layoffs hit.
Well, big news for tech and education in our area. The University of Maryland just landed a big grant aimed at pushing more AI and quantum research.
That's right, and CTV's Brandon Williams is in College Park with more.
AI is the biggest tool driving people into the future. And today, local businesses and the University of Maryland received a big donation to help them become more artificially intelligent.
The University of Maryland's using this $1 million plus to help to train small businesses in our community how to use AI and how they can use it to make their businesses more efficient.
When UMD requested AI funding, Congressman Glenn Ivey and the Financial Services and General Government Appropriations Bill came through.
Well, having a strong AI program, I think, is one of the things that's helped the university move up and become one of the top public universities in the country. They're flying up the charts on that front.
Small business owner Asrojan Shukarov said when AI came on the scene, he knew it was the best resource to use.
As soon as AI came out, I'm like, this is it. It's like an internet, right? Or when the cell phones came out, you know this tool helps you with many ways than just one.
And the impact continues to grow. Students in the School of Business believe the funding will help them earn more skills, and Dean Prabhadev Konana said AI won't replace people, but enhance their skill set and process.
AI amplifies what human beings' creativity. And that's what excites us, not to run with everybody else saying, AI is going to replace human beings. We are going to say, no, it's humans first.
When I will be working in the market, I will be able to achieve more with AI and improving the outcome of the businesses that I will be working on.
As you can see, the benefits of investing in AI can help shape the future of business owners and the leaders of tomorrow. In College Park, Brandon Williams, CTV News.
And according to USnews.com, UMD ranks 12th in a list of the top public universities that conduct AI research.
A new initiative aims to help address health concerns of students while keeping them in school. The Prince George's County School System partnered with Children's National to open up 4 school-based health centers. Medical professionals will be able to provide services to students such as annual well child and adolescent visits, immunizations, pregnancy testing, and even substance use and depression screenings. The first group of schools that now have the health centers include Northwestern High, Oxon Hill High, Fairmont Heights High, and Walker Mill Middle School.
No family should have to choose between their child's health or their child's education. That's a choice no parent ever wants to make. And this center removes that burden. With the opening of our 4 school-based health centers across our district, we now have the capacity to serve more than 9,000 students in a single year.
And for more details on the new health centers, visit the website right there on your screen.
And more than 1 million U.S. veterans may be eligible for education benefits they didn't know they can use. The issue centers around how the Department of Veterans Affairs interprets rules governing the Montgomery GI Bill and the post-9/11 GI Bill. A 2024 Supreme Court ruling said some veterans who qualify for both programs should be able to use benefits from each up to a combined 48 months. But advocates say currently VA policies are still preventing many from accessing those full benefits. Legal challenges are now underway, and supporters say a change could happen the door for more and more millions of veterans to claim education assistance.
Marylanders are betting big and losing even bigger. New reports from Spotlight on Maryland finds residents lost an estimated $2.5 billion in a single year, as the state collected more than $1.6 billion in gambling revenue. State data shows severe gambling problems have nearly doubled since online sports betting launched, with more Marylanders struggling. Now, as lawmakers consider legalizing online casinos, critics warn that could mean constant access and even higher risks while supporters say regulation could add safeguards.
And we have a food alert to warn you of. The Food Safety and Inspection Service issued a public health alert for 16-ounce packages of White Oak Pastures grass-fed ground beef. The product was produced February 26th and has a sell-by date of March 19th and may contain metal fragments. The beef was sold at Mom's Organic Markets in several states, including Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and D.C. Officials say the product is no longer in stores, but consumers should throw it away or return it if it is in their freezer. And still to come on CTV News, March is Fibroid Awareness Month, and millions of women suffer from carrying painful tumors.
After the break, we're joined by Dr. Hack to discuss what fibroids are and what women should know if they see signs. Stay with us.
We are women first, but women with disabilities last.
During a military exercise, we crashed and I broke my neck.
When I was in the Air Force, an accident changed my life. I couldn't have imagined the injustices I would face.
Every day, women like me go to the doctor for annual checkups for conditions like breast cancer. Early detection saved my life. But women with disabilities face a cruel reality: inaccessible medical facilities and equipment.
In the 25 years since my injury, I have not seen a gynecologist. There's not one accessible OBGYN in my community.
I found lumps in my breast. I went to a doctor's office I was told was accessible, but when I got there, I couldn't get through the front door.
I don't know where I'd be today without access to testing. Our veterans deserve better. Help PVA fight for access at pva.org.
If words were enough, I would help you bear your burden. I would watch each child of yours grow strong and true. Teach them to read and to write and to sing, so that their voices be forgotten nevermore. If words were enough, I would sate your hunger, and you would know you are my sister, my brother, my child. If words were enough.
It's so hard to predict a sick kid who just keep getting sicker, but we needed to be together as a family. My family is my entire life. My family means the world to me.
When we're together and we have support from Ronald McDonald House, we can be a little stronger. They provide food and a place to rest your head, and they will help you through every step. That's what gets you through every day when you don't know how else you're gonna make it.
It makes you feel like you're not alone.
Welcome back. March is Fibroids Awareness Month, and according to research, 70 to 80% of women will develop uterine fibroids by the age of 50. That's about 26 million women in the U.S. alone.
Black women are disproportionately affected because they are 2 to 3 times more likely to develop them at an earlier age and be misdiagnosed. Back in studio today to discuss uterine fibroids and the challenges women face living with them is Dr. Stephanie Hack. Dr. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So what are fibroids for those who may not know?
So fibroids are a type of benign tumor, that grows from the muscular tissue of the uterus.
And how common are they for women?
Sure. So as you mentioned, by the time a woman reaches 50 years of age, about 70 to 80% of women will have fibroids.
Gotcha. Can you tell us a little bit more about the symptoms and how can someone kind of determine, if there are fibroids or if it's just a really bad period?
Sure. So there are mainly 2 types of symptoms that women tend to have with fibroids. The first is heavy periods, heavy bleeding. And then the second is what we call bulk symptoms. And those are symptoms of pressure and fullness that they feel in their abdomen. And when it comes to figuring out regarding the bleeding, is this just a bad period? Overall, you want to think, does this happen regularly? Having a period that's heavy just once and then it doesn't continue and your rest of your periods are lighter or a more normal bleeding, that's fine. But if you continue to notice that you're having heavier periods and heavier bleeding, that's a good sign that you need to get that checked out.
And do all fibroids need treatment? And also, is monitoring them just enough for some people?
That's a great question. Fibroids come in so many different sizes. So if you have an ultrasound and your ultrasound shows that you have small fibroids and they're not anywhere that would bother you, then you don't necessarily need to do anything other than just watch and wait and see if they grow or if you have symptoms develop. But sometimes even a smaller fibroid can be just positioned in a way, whether it's inside the uterus or on the outside, that it could cause problems. And so that is really going to be something that you need an ultrasound, and you need to regularly be communicating with your doctor about your symptoms.
So you talked about having an ultrasound, but how are you able to get your fibroids treated?
So once you know where your fibroids are located and have an idea of your symptoms, there are so many different treatments, and they really depend on what you want, what your desires are. So an example is if somebody wants to have children and maybe they haven't had kids yet, or they haven't had as many kids as they want to have. Well, one of the options for fibroids, kind of the ultimate option, is a hysterectomy. Well, that's not a great option if you think you want to have kids. Right. But there's so many options before that, from medications to more minimally, what we call minimally invasive procedures like a uterine fibroid embolization or a hysteroscopic myomectomy. I'm using big words.
Yeah, all right. Teach us, I love it.
Sure, so a hysteroscopic myomectomy is very common, and that's from a hysteroscopy, where we put a camera inside the uterus. It's small, smaller than my finger, to look and see where the fibroids are, and then we have tools that we can use to kind of break the fibroids down and remove them.
And what are some signs that fibroids are no longer something to just watch, and it's something that we need to treat?
Great. So if you start to develop those symptoms, so if you're having heavy bleeding, you're changing your pads or tampons every 2 hours, multiple times in a 2-hour period, so more than 2 times in a 2-hour period, or if you are feeling lightheaded or dizzy when you have a period, that could be a sign that you're anemic, that you're losing too much blood. Those are just a couple of the signs. If you're having to wear a tampon and a pad overnight together, that's another indication that you're having a lot of bleeding and that you should get those fibroids checked out or get checked for fibroids.
And, data shows us that fibroids affect Black women disproportionately. But what can you tell us about advocating for ourselves when it comes to going to the doctor so that symptoms are being dismissed or are not being dismissed?
That's great. Don't write it off. Don't have a period and just say, well, my mom had heavy periods, my sister had heavy periods, so I'm going to have heavy periods, and that's just how it's supposed to be. I think that's one of the first things, is recognizing that it's something that you need to get checked out and not just kind of dismissing it yourself.
All right. Dr. Hack, thanks so much for joining us. And we want to thank you again for coming in and spreading all of this information during Women's History Month. And thank you for your information.
As always, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And for more information on women's health and Dr. Hack's podcast, visit ladypartsdoctor.com. And don't move just yet. Simon Buggs has our Tuesday sports page.
All right, what's going on in sports, Simon?
What's up, sports fans? Don't move, because coming right up, I got the opportunity to talk to some coaches from the UMD football team about their first day of spring practice. Hear what they had to say when we come back.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill? No. You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray.
Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kids should know.
All right, sports fans, y'all know what time it is. Let's get straight to it. Now, first up, some high school girls and boys lacrosse teams took the field yesterday. And on the girls' side, Oxon Hill took down Duval in a close game, 7-6. And Parkdale routed Gwen Park, 14-3. Moving on to the boys, Oxon Hill shut out Duval 9-0. And Frederick Douglass came out on top versus Laurel, beating the Spartans 3-1. Meanwhile, it's an exciting day for the UMD football team as the Terps kicked off spring practice earlier today. Spring ball is the first of many steps to Maryland bouncing back from the last 2 seasons where they each finished at 4-8. I caught up with some coaches earlier today and they told me how pumped up they were about the beginning of the spring period.
Well, we're excited to get going. I know that our players are ready. They're excited. We had a really good offseason, really good winter. Our guys are stronger and faster, and the ones that we're going to miss because they're still recovering from some off-season stuff, those guys will do as much as they can mentally. But we're excited. We've got a good young football team that's gelled and ready to go. And the beauty of it is we don't have to. We go all the way back to step 1, but we don't have to stay as long on those early steps. So there's no language barrier. There's all those things are already taken care of. So we can't wait to get started, and our guys are chomping at the bit and ready to roll.
Very excited. I mean, we've been here a month now, and we've kind of got to sprinkle it and introduce what we're doing and introduce some of the differences, and now we get to fully hit the ground running. So very excited to see what they've maintained over this last month, and then how we can also get better, because that's the main thing. What you got to do in spring is get better. So how do we do that while also, managing the bodies that we have?
I mean, it feels real good. This is where it started. I'm from Maryland, and just to be back and to help these guys on the defensive line, help this program get back to 10, 11 wins program, it means a lot, and I'm excited about this opportunity.
In other news, Washington Capitals legend Alexander Ovechkin crossed another milestone recently. The 40-year-old joined Wayne Gretzky as the only player to reach 1,000 career goals, regular season and playoffs combined. The Russian native scored the pivotal goal during a power play in the team's loss against the Colorado Avalanche over the weekend. Ovechkin and the rest of the Caps will take the ice again tonight at 8 o'clock versus the St. Louis Blues. And that wraps up your Tuesday sports page. From College Park, Simon Buggs, CTV Sports, back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Simon. Now let's get a look at our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight it's going to be cloudy with light winds, and tomorrow it'll be partly sunny with a high of 58. Thursday will be partly sunny with a high of 74, but we have a 50% chance of rain. Friday it'll be 64 degrees and rain is likely between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. and later again at 8 p.m.
And for our community calendar this Thursday, the University of Maryland is hosting the inaugural Maryland Talent Connection Career Fair. This event brings together Maryland-based employers and Maryland's next generation of business talent. It takes place from 11:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., but for more information or to register, visit hiresmith.net.
And do you have a story to tell? You can reach out to our CTV News tip line.
Give us a call at 301-386-4085 or send an email to ctvnews@pgctv.org. As always, we look forward to hearing from you.
And that's a wrap for CTV News for now. Thank you so much for joining us.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.
Constant elevation causes expansion. It's one of my favorite lyrics that I used to play constantly, back to back. It means elevating yourself through the knowledge and connecting with others to expand who you are today to who you want to become. To elevate myself, I graduated college, built a business, and I coach young people on and off the field. I dreamed of a global life. The more I participate in Rotary, the more I see, the more I can do. I'll have a network of people who share my passion and build on my ideas, but they also expand my thinking. I can help my community, but now I can help communities across the globe. It makes my local projects better, my reach wider. With Rotary, I have a global life.
When you see more, then you know more is